Become a cool kid now by visiting www.fruitycoolkids.com.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust Low Cost Supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high-quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low Cost Supermarket, Southern Main Road, Cunupia.
Welcome back, boys and girls. We are right in the middle of the story of Prophet Shuaib, a wealthy yet humble man who had a big problem with the way his people conducted business. He was tired of seeing people get cheated out of their money. When people would come to buy goods, the salesman would sell them less than what they paid for and robbed them. People were afraid to do any business or speak up for justice. Prophet Shuaib was so kind, he even developed a system of weights, so balancing would be able to be possible and make sure that people received the right amount of goods they paid for, like a pound of rice and a pint of milk. Have any of you boys and girls ever seen a scale? A scale is where you can measure the amount of weight of something. For example, he made rocks. So the rocks would go on one side, that would equal 1 pound, and the rice would get poured on the other side. So when you poured enough rice into the scale, once it equaled that of the rocks, that would be perfect. But unfortunately, the salesman did not like this idea. They did not want to use a scale because they knew that people would find out that they were robbing them, and they did not want that. So the salesmen all thought he was coming to make them poor, and they were not happy with that idea. They liked being rich. Do you know anybody like that? Astaghfirullah. Now, the fair character of Prophet Shuaib is the reason many people respected him and listened when he spoke about Allah. He convinced many people to believe in Allah, but the businessmen did not like him at all. They did not care what he said. They just did not believe. They did not fear Allah or the afterlife. All they cared about was making money for this life, the here and now. But for the people who were customers, they were grateful for Prophet Shuaib for trying to get them justice, trying to get them equal amounts of goods, the proper amounts of goods, the proper payment. And they were grateful that he was so honest and true. They knew that whatever he said would benefit them because they saw him try so hard to help them. Now, those among Shuaib's people who disliked him and were thought to be clever looked for bad motives in his words. They wanted to trick him. They wanted to prove him wrong and shame him. As if they had discovered a secret or solved some ridiculous riddle, they said with arrogant pride, "Shuaib, does your prayer command that we should abandon the idols our fathers worshipped? How can your prayers forbid us from doing what we want with our very own property? It is ours. We have worked hard and earned it. Who are you to ask us to give it up? Have you come to take away our wealth?" They thought Shuaib was trying to trick them. They accused Shuaib of wanting a cut, wanted some of their earnings, but he certainly did not. Like all of the other prophets, Prophet Shuaib was patient and kind to them, not harsh or angry. He told them that he had only taken it upon themselves to deliver the call and give good counsel after a long time of silently observing their corrupt and unfair behavior. What they were doing, cheating people and stealing from them, was not right. How would they like it if people stole from them or cheated them out of goods? Now, Allah had honored Prophet Shuaib with prophethood and revelation and opened his breast and given him a light from Allah. But envy was not the reason he was talking to them. Allah had made him wealthy. Allah had given Shuaib lots of riches and given him wholesome, lawful wealth. He was happy with that, cheerful and content and grateful to Allah. He did not want anyone else's money. He had his own. And even if he didn't, he was still thankful for Allah. He was still content. He didn't have to cheat anyone out of their money. He did not have to steal from people or disrespect anybody. He did not forbid them from doing anything that he himself did to gain money. They just didn't want to do it the right way. He was not one of those who commanded others to be poor and live humble lives. He was not a hypocrite. You see, boys and girls, Allah does not mind when people have wealth and nice things. This is the lesson. Allah gives us wealth and nice things, but the most important part is that Allah wants us to realize that it is just material things that could disappear with the poof of an eye. We can't worship anything material or feel like we are better than anyone because we have money. We must always remain humble and treat everyone with respect. Also, we must be mindful of where that money comes from. Money that comes from doing bad things is bad, and we will be punished for it. When we are fair and we earn money justly, Allah smiles on us, and Allah likes to give. Allah wants us to give. When you give money in donations, Allah gives it back, plus much more. Prophet Shuaib said, "O my people, I have not come here as a rich man to tell you don't get wealthy like me. All I want is for you to be fair and honest businessmen. All I ask is that you fear Allah and know what He is always watching you. He watches when you shortchange the women and steal from the men. Be careful that these bad deeds will cause Allah to be angry and He will punish you." The people shut their ears to Shuaib's words. It was as if he was speaking to them in a foreign language, though he was one of them and from their own country. It was as if he wasn't making things clear, even though he spoke with plain speech. But that is the way people are when they don't really want to accept your good advice. Some people just don't like people telling them what to do. I'm sure you know some people like that, especially when they are told that what they are doing are wrong and bad. We should stay away from people like that. Now, I know you all don't like being told to take off the TV or clean your room. I'm sure there are many things that you don't want to do. Or even when people tell you you've been naughty. But remember, boys and girls, sometimes we need to take the advice of those around us who we respect. Our parents and our teachers, our aunties and uncles, they all know much more than we do, and they want us to grow into good boys and girls. They want us to do what is right, so Allah loves us and Allah will take care of us. They don't want Allah to be angry and punish us. Remember, we all want to go to Jannah. The people use Shuaib's weakness and isolation as an excuse. If it had not been for his tribe and his people, they would have stoned him and gotten rid of him. Shuaib was amazed that Allah, the Almighty and the All-Powerful, should be less in their eyes. He couldn't understand how they could just ignore the possibilities of Allah's punishment. Why couldn't they understand? Why? He couldn't understand why someone who had wealth had any care about morals and values. To them, once you had money, you could do and say whatever you wanted. Well, this is not true. Having more money gives you no right to talk down to people. You always remember that, boys and girls. The disbelievers said, "Shuaib, we do not understand much of what you say. We see that you are weak. We should stone you. You are not strong. You are no threat to us." But Shuaib responded, "O my people, I am strong, but no one is more strong than Allah." He warned them that they had no reason to fear him, but they should fear Allah. When the people had finished their arguments, the village council decided that they had enough with Shuaib, trying to tell them what to do and how to live their life. They were tired of him preaching about consequences for their actions. After all, it was none of his business. So what if they stole and they cheated people? Nobody was coming to fight them for it. And even if people had a problem with what could they do? They were rich and powerful, and the customers were poor, weak people. They said, "Shuaib, we will drive you out from our city, along with those who believe in you, unless you return to our religion." Shuaib's answer showed his pride in his faith and his strong belief. No matter what they did to him or threatened to do, he knew Allah would protect him, and he knew Allah was the answer to all of his prayers. He feared Allah much more than he feared any of them. He believed in the Day of Judgment, and he knew the punishment for not believing in Allah. He knew the punishment for associating anything with Allah. He was strong. When they urged him to return to their religion, he said no. He trusted Allah, and he took this as a test from Allah. They were shocked. They threatened his life, and still he stood firm. He still believed in Allah, even though his life was at risk. He did not fear them. They couldn't believe it. As threatened, they seized the belongings of Shuaib and his followers and drove them out of the town. The messenger turned to his Lord for help, Ya Allah, and he pleaded. Their end was the same as that of every community which rejected the prophets before them. They suffered the same destruction of those who were ungrateful for the blessings of Allah and the messengers of the prophets. They were ungrateful and suffered just like those that lived in sin. Allah sent down on them scorching heat, and they suffered terribly. They were inside their houses to save themselves, but the heat also entered the houses along with them. The heat was so intense that they could not bear it. Even the water they drank became very hot, so that they could not drink it. Boiling water all around. On seeing a cloud gathering in the sky, they thought it would bring cool, refreshing rain, and they rushed outside in hope of enjoying the rain. Instead, the clouds burst, holding thunder and firestorms coming down from the skies. They heard a thunderous sound from above, which caused the earth under their feet to tremble. Then came the earthquake. The evildoers perished in this state of horror. All those who stole and cheated people, all those who denounced Islam and Allah, all those who lived in sin were gone. Shuaib, like all the prophets, delivered the message of Allah to his people, fulfilling the task entrusted to him, and he established proof of it. He tried to convince the people to save the people, but they were stubborn and selfish. They did not want to be humble and fair, so as promised, Allah punished them. You see, boys and girls, when Allah is not happy with you, He can and He will punish you. Just a few nights ago, there was an earthquake right here while we slept. Allah woke us up. Allah blessed us to wake up the next morning in the comfort of our homes. Now Allah has the power to break down all of our houses and all